Hello, my name is DC, and in this video, we'll be talking about tactical periodization. So, tactical periodization. Just know there's an name last. Yeah, so this one is a special shout out. This has had troubles writing because if I try and use this one, let me just open it. If I try and use this is what it's giving me, and we can barely see what's happening, right? Otherwise, special thanks to Haggai. Haggai is the one that gifted me this marker. Really, it's become very important because at this point, that's what I'm using to explain. And shout out to Haggai. Cheers for the marker, boy. All right, so tactical periodization. This is in a simple way to explain how managers prepare their players by conducting training sessions at particular intensities and levels to make sure that the players are at peak performance for every match week. So what I've done here is created a simple layout of a tactical periodization, and also this is just a very general example. Depending on the league you play in, the number of matches you play in a particular week, the coaching philosophy of a coach, the type of players you have, the size of the squad, this can be very different from club to club, league to league, manager to manager, things like that. So let's say, for example, your team plays a match every Saturday. So Saturday is the match day. So remember, this is a cycle. By cycle, it means you're going to be repeating this. This is something that's going. This is a cycle. So it will be something that you do over and over again. So Saturday, that's the match. Saturday, your players will be off. They do not come to training sessions. Maybe you may phone one of them to ask how the match was, but they will be off. Monday, this is recovery. You get them back to, you find them may be off or something. You make sure they are running, not too much. You just don't make sure you don't do too much because some of them might be fighting an injury, discomfort, and you do not want to increase that level of discomfort. Just like maybe when you're feeling a back, and then after you do a very intense training session, after being off on a Sunday and back to training on a Monday, yeah, and it starts feeling worse, that type of thing. So you allow them to recover. So this is where it may be different for each player depending on the position they play, maybe the discomfort they're feeling, or the relationship they have with the personal trainers. You may be targeting different players or from different positions. Yeah, so you may say maybe your midfielders are always pressing, they're very high in possession. Same thing with your strikers. You may say not laid back, just ease your way back into the next training session, and then we'll see how things go from there. If any discomfort continues, you may have to adjust it a bit, but on that particular player, one particular position, but just make sure it's not something that's too intense. Tuesday, 50%. So whatever training session you do it at 50% intensity. Not you do it 50%, you do it at a 50% intensity. Or for other managers, you just do half of what you do. Depends. So instead of running, let's say 200 meters, this training session will run 100 meters. Remember, simply for explanation purposes only, not in terms of like doing exact tactics and whatnot. So you just try to bring them back because they even know that Wednesday, that's when they're going to run like mad people. So make them run, make them train just as normal, but just as half at the intensity, or make them do half of what they are supposed to do. Wednesday, this is when now they will run. Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds, he had the thing called Death Ball. Simply, they'll play a 11v11 game, and then there'll be 100 balls around the pitch. So immediately a ball goes out of play, another one is immediately re-entered. They would play this for 3 hours. This is why whenever you are playing Leeds, it's like these guys would not get tired. They were so intense, always running, but unfortunately they were a man-marking oriented team, and due to that, they would usually be found, players would be finding them, it was easy to drag a player out of position, and Marcelo Bielsa eventually got sacked or let go by the club, or mutual consent, whatever it was. So that's an example, right? Death ball. And then you have Mauricio Pochettino. He has this thing whereby he has a particular type of session whereby you run. I don't know exactly, but I think the main thing is whereby you cover a distance of 150 meters in 45 seconds. So 150 meters in 45 seconds. You rest for 15 seconds, and then you will go again. But this distance will be from 150 meters to one. Is it sorry? So the distance will increase by 6.5 meters. So if it was 150, you run 156.5, rest for 15 seconds, you go again, another 6 meters is added, and then a lot of players complain, very intense, you'd be running, sometimes people would even puke. So each particular manager has their own way of having a very intense training session to make sure that you had full fitness and you had full match sharpness. Marcelo Bielsa, death ball. Mauricio Pochettino, that running drill. I don't know for other managers or I've just forgotten, but it's that type of thing. Then Thursday, after this very intense session, make sure it's recovery. You do not want your players going into that match feeling tired, sore, or anything. No, 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 no. Make sure they recover. Remember, example only. Other managers may have different philosophies. You make sure you're recovering, you're doing the best you can to get back into match fitness, or just make sure you're as comfortable as you can or at peak in terms of fitness and or match fitness before the game. And then you make sure you're recovering, you address any niggles and injuries or any particular discomfort any player might feel, but you just make sure that they're at a good pace, recovering, and normal session. Then Friday, this is where once again you go 50%. You decide we're not going to do everything because you're not going to go at 100% because you have a match the next day and you do not want your players going in tired. So remember, the match is played on a Saturday. So Friday, you mainly go through tactical. You decide what you're going to do in that pitch. Are we going to be pressing? Are we going to be maybe just keeping possession? Are we going to drop back? Maybe are we going to waste time? Do we have a particular player we want to target? Maybe that player, maybe it's a star player, but the star player has a short temper. Maybe you want to frustrate him. Maybe you decide, we'll target the left back since that's where most attacks begin. That's why you talk. This is where the tactics of that match will be used or will be discussed up front. That's why you decide what you talk about. Simple as that. This is where tactical, the game plan. And 50% once again, you do not want your players to go too tight into the match. So depending from manager to manager, this can be different. Remember, demonstrative purposes only. But tactical periodization, very good. Make sure that your players are at peak performance every time. Mourinho does this. Also, who's that coach that got sacked by Nottingham Forest? Is it Espirito Santos? Nuno Espirito Santos. Yeah, he was also fond of using this. Otherwise, that's just a simple explanation of tactical periodization. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, follow, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the match breakdown or let's just say tactical board talks, something like that. Otherwise, bye.